open up the local Board of Appeals for City of Dayton, April 9th. Have at it.
All right, so we're going to start with Wright County. So it's Jamie, correct?
My name is Jamie Jensen, and I'm the assessor for the Wright County portion of the city of Dayton. Sorry. Do you want me to repeat that?
Sure.
Okay, my name is Jamie Jensen, and I'm the assessor for the Wright County portion of the state of Dayton. And just an overview, the total assessed value for our portion in 2024 was $10,031,200, and that is a decrease of about 0.5% from the total amount last year. So the values went down just slightly, and that was primarily due to just adjustments of building rates throughout Wright County. We had no sales in this portion, and basically this section of Dayton will be in my quintile review this coming summer for the 2025 assessment. So I will be out and about knocking on doors. And that's it. Are there any questions, or is there anyone here wondering about their 2024 assessed value?
For Wright County. I don't have anyone online either, so we can close the Wright County portion.
All right. We will close the Wright County portion, and we will open the Hennepin County portion.
Good evening, Mayor Fisher and council members. I'm Mitchell King with the Hennepin County Assessor's Office. I'm a residential appraiser for the county and the lead appraiser for Dayton. Tonight, we are discussing the real estate market for Dayton and what we saw for the 2024 assessment. Sales between October 2022 and September 2023 were used and analyzed. This growth statistic is a net figure that considers only market-related changes. These figures do not include new construction or property type shifts. Other property type increases were commercial, up 13.5%. This also includes the property type splits where residential properties have commercial use on them. Industrial is up 4.39%. This number is a bit different than what's in the sales book, as we found some missing improvement amounts, which changed the net change percentage from what is in the sales book to what we're reporting now. Apartments stayed flat at 0%. Duplexes up 3.5%, and townhomes up 0.9%. And tillable land increased from $8,800 to $10,000. Pasture and woods increased from $2,800 to $3,200, and wetland stayed flat at $1,000. The 2024 assessment for Dayton, the total market value is approximately $2,359,483,900. New construction amount was approximately $189,721,200. Net percent increase was 4.1%, and gross percentage, which includes new construction, was 13.3%. And this year, we reviewed 1/5 of the city, like we do every year, but this year we reviewed the southwest portion of the city. And then we do have 11 properties that we are reading in, 11 properties that we are reading in to the board, and they're all in agreement of the value. I'll be reading the PIDs and then the values. So, what's up?
We'll wait with that until, we'll let anyone in the audience that wants to speak first appeal theirs, and then we can read these in at the end. That's okay.
Are either of you here for that?
I am.
Come on forward. Your name and address, and we'll also have you fill out oh yeah, that's, and then at some point fill out one of those.
So address is 12161 East French Lake Road. And I'm appealing, they want to change the classification of the property from ag homestead to just residential homestead again. This is the third year running that I've had to bring this up and go back to, or argue that it should still be ag.
Yeah, what was as I recall, that was resolved last year
Yep.
to ag. Is this, have you
This-
had discussions with?
The apple trees, correct?
Apple, peach, plum, pear.
Okay. And Hennepin County has been contacted?
Yep.
So it will be the same argument every year, because I'm assuming that Hennepin County doesn't agree that it is ag, and last year the council decided to change it,
No.
and so this will be an ongoing thing?
I believe it was a few years ago that it changed it.
Okay,
And the reason why we left it go for a few years was because we were told that the whole property was going to be planted with fruit trees and whatnot, because the statute is for ag properties, typically you need 10 or more acres in production on a property to be considered ag. There is some stipulations that if you are under 10 acres, you have to be intensively using that property. And that's one thing that people can have their own determination of what they think intensive is. That's one of the things that we're on different pages with. We think that intensive is basically you're using every part of your property besides the house, garage, and 1 acre for being in production in general. Because if you have 10, you need 10 acres or more. So if you're going to have under 10 acres, you need to have everything in it besides the house, garage, and 1 acre to be intensive. And there is new bill out there that is proposing an actual income limit as well. Currently, there is no income steady limit. Department of Revenue recommended us getting the Schedule F from people in these situations to look at that as an extra thing besides just the whole intensive use of the property. So now they are looking at $5,000 as kind of their guideline. We don't know if that's going to stick for sure, if it's going to be higher, or what the case is. So that's just another thing to look at. But our determination in general is it doesn't meet the intensive use on it in general. I believe if the property's like 9 acres, you take out the house, garage, 1 acre, you're at 8 acres. I believe he has less than 2 acres total that's actually being used as in production, I guess.
So if it's above 10 acres, then what's the criteria?
You need 10 or more acres in
I mean-
production. So if you had an 11-acre parcel,
Yeah.
10 of it has to be in production.
So how is that not intensive?
How,
So
what
you're saying if it's under 10, it's got to be intensive?
intensively used for, and then there's a description of some things that it
Yep.
has to qualify for.
So if
but-
it's 20,
Then you're
At
over
least
10 right
10 has to be.
automatically.
But
saying-
10 of the 20 would have to be in production.
oh, so it stays at 10 above
Yeah.
10.
You have to have 10 in production, yeah.
Okay, and the income limit they're proposing is 5,000?
Can you describe that a little more? It's an income limit, you have to,
You'd have to have at least that amount of
so that's a
income.
minimum, not a
Right,
limit.
minimum, yeah.
Okay.
And I have that bill here if anybody wants to see it. I've looked at all of the ins and outs, and it is the intensive part of the market farming. And I have the statute right here. So it is, if you are under 11, you need to be using the property for intensive market farming. For the purposes of this paragraph, and they define market farming as a means of cultivating 1 or more fruits or vegetables for production or animal and ag products, and I do 1 or more fruits and vegetables. Intensive is not defined in the statutes, but if you look up intensive market farming, anywhere that it's defined as the focus of intensive is a lot of resources and labor into a small tract of land in order to increase your yield and profitability. Normal profitability per acre in the state of Minnesota is about $800 per acre. I'm pushing $3,000 per acre. And where I'm not planted yet is because I haven't had my test yields come in on the new orchards that I've expanded. The property was ag all the time before I took it. I clear cut 7 acres of it, planted it another 1.5 acres of test trees, and I need 3 years before I know what I can go forward with. I would like to plant the whole thing, but I can't invest $20,000 in more trees if I don't know if they're gonna produce. So I have test plots out, and I'm just waiting for that return.
So right now, your income from it is it above the $5,000?
It is not. Last year it was not because I don't have the new orchard up. This will
Oh,
be-
you haven't got that?
It's not producing yet. This will be the
Yep.
first season that maybe a third of that orchard will produce, so I expect, I went from around $1,000 the first year to last year I had $3,800 of gross. I expect to be around $6,000 this year, probably around $12,000 the following year, and then there'll be a 3-year lag until I plant in, if I go more trees or if I go more berries.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
The 5K of revenue, that's proposed, and whose court is that in as far as approval goes?
Legislation is proposed, someone in legislation proposed it, I don't know exactly who. That's just kind of a guideline that we're looking at right now too, but we are still looking at the overall intensive part of it. We don't know if they're gonna define that more clearly on the rules of that. It seemed, we've been, I wouldn't say we, but a lot of county assessors and people have been asking for something to be changed. Because if you need 10 acres in production otherwise, and you're allowing anything under 10 acres, but you have to have an intensive, what's anyone that has 5 acres, just to say that, oh, we're selling food from our garden here at a local market, and why
Yeah.
can't we be ag?
And what does intensive mean?
Yep, so
Yeah.
that's where any other property that we have in
Sure.
these situations, they're basically farming it from corner to corner in order to get the intensive use and be classified as ag. This is a very unique situation in general. I don't know if we have any other ones like this in the county. There probably is in other counties, but our whole determination, we're not even just looking at the $5,000 number. We're looking at, there's only 1 acre to 2 acres in production actually on that property. And any other property throughout the county, if it's under 10 acres and they have ag, it's because they're farming it corner to corner, intensively using it.
But are they generally farming it with grain-type crops? I mean, these are labor-intensive crops.
Typically, yeah. There's not too many
Not too
people
hard
that
to call
have
it.
market farming. There actually is some market
Yeah.
farmers in Dayton, in general, and we could bring up some of their properties and show you what we think intensive looks like. But those people have more than 10 acres in general, so they would qualify
Right.
either way.
And I can see, easily hitting your definition of intensive with a grain crop, because you machine plant the thing and it's done. I don't know, in this case, I guess I tend to want to give the property owner the benefit of the doubt here, but you guys can,
How many years till you'll know how many years until you'll have it planted, whether you grow berries or trees or, whatever?
I would really like to plant it in peaches, but I won't know if that's truly going to be viable for 2 years. As an interim, I'm thinking about trying something called an Arctic raspberry, and then that would plant it almost corner to corner with that.
Can we give him more than 1 year lenience? We're not back here in a year going through this again? Do we have the ability to do that or no?
Technically, no.
Okay.
Technically, in order to classify you as ag, we have to look at the previous
Okay.
year's.
That's fine. You answered my
No, I'm
question.
just saying, so technically.
I'm just trying to save him the hassle of having to
Right,
come back
yep.
every year. If we're in agreement, we need 2 years and we all agree with that, then, but we
Yep.
can't do that. So I'm in the same boat, Dennis, in this one.
Yeah. Well, it seems to me that it's certainly your intent to get to that level. And, I'm not in the peach business or the apple business either, so I don't, I don't understand the process, but I've certainly given you the benefit of the doubt that what you're doing is the right approach. It's been ag land, and it sounds like it's gonna be ag land, so I don't see the point in, switching it for a year or two until you come up with it, and I mean, if you need to get there somehow technically, I mean, can you plant a bunch of clover or some other cover crop on it?
Does Creepy Charlie count?
I don't know if it counts as a crop anymore, but,
No, it would be the raspberries. Next year we'll go in, probably this time next year, if my first plots aren't showing the trees the way I want
So you would move ahead with something
Yeah.
agricultural on that land regardless, then I don't think we should change it.
I don't disagree. It just, to me, just sounds like more government overreach.
All right, well, I need a motion and a second then.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Okay, any more discussion on that?
I just want to bring up that we talked about rural feel, supporting farmers. If we have someone here that's trying to do that, I think we're making the right decision.
Okay.
Want to clarify what you're?
Yeah,
voting
I
on
motion
here?
that we don't make the change the county's recommending and that we
Well,
move
we,
it back
the
to.
county already took it away, so
Okay.
you guys would have to motion to give him.
Okay, then we're motioning to give him his agricultural status back.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah.
I still second it.
Okay.
Okay, any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Carries 5-0.
Thanks for
All
coming.
right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
and
And you may have to come back next year.
Probably.
I tried to get you there. It didn't work.
It's okay. And are you here, sir? Oh, you're them. Anybody online? Okay.
All right, yeah, we have 11 additional properties to read into the board. They're all in agreement of the value.
Okay.
I'll read in the PIDs. First one is 1012022230038. It was assessed at $522,900, recommending a reduction down to $475,000. Next PID 10-120-2234-0015 was assessed at $548,900, recommending a reduction down to $505,000. Next PID 33-120-2233-0106. That was originally assessed at $615,100, recommending a reduction down to $600,000. And then 32-120-2211-0074 was assessed at $179,300, recommending a reduction down to $125,000. Next PID 32-120-2211-0075 was assessed at $389,400, recommending a reduction down to $283,600. Next bid was 32-120-2211-0082, was assessed at $272,200, recommending a reduction down to $223,200. 33-120-2221-0057 was originally assessed at $615,000, recommending a reduction down to $566,000. 33-120-2221-0059 was assessed at $445,200. We're recommending a reduction down to $391,800. 33-120-2221-0083 was assessed at $556,400. We are recommending a reduction down to $513,300. And PID 33-120-2221-0084 was assessed at $390,800. We're recommending a reduction down to $352,800. And then final PID is 33-120-2221-0086 was assessed at $398,300. We are recommending a reduction down to $359,200. And again, all those agreed to the value change. So you guys just need to vote on those.
Okay, I need a motion and a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion on those?
I just have a statement and a question. Next time, can you provide a list of that to the city staff before you read it off? Because they're over here trying to write down everything you're saying. And
Okay.
it's,
We
watching them do it
we'll
is
give it
is
to 'em
funny.
after, so they
Yeah,
don't even need to write it
yeah,
down,
so that'd be
but-
helpful. One of them dropped by like $100,000. Can you just elaborate on what happened there? I'm just curious. I'm not gonna vote no on it. I think it's great for the property. I'm just curious of.
Right, yeah, and I believe
How we were off by $100,000.
I believe that was it was a new build and it wasn't complete as of January 2nd of 2024. So we must have overshot the percentage complete we called on it.
Okay.
So that was the big drop because value wasn't that high to begin with.
Okay.
Looks like most of these were like 50, give or take.
A lot of these were all new construction, so
Okay.
we try to get out right at the end of the year December 28th, or whatever it lines up as, because we have to validate as of January 2nd. Depending on weather or how busy we are,
Yep.
sometimes it could be a week or two after. You can make a decent amount of progress on building a house in a couple weeks. They could add insulation, sheetrock, and do a bunch of stuff, and it can change the percent complete quite a bit in that amount of time. Also, sometimes they finish the exterior part of it, and you don't know exactly what's going on in the interior.
Oh, sure.
We don't get in them at the time. A lot of times they're locked up, or there's 10 million construction workers running around
Yeah.
there, and you're not gonna get in the house, so you gotta estimate it based on the best of your ability, I guess. In this case, they're all, I think, most of these are David Weekly homes.
Yes,
They
correct.
keep very good detailed track of where they are in the process on their homes at any given time, where other builders don't seem to. So we do get calls from them in all the cities that they're building in each year, and they wanna just compare their percent completes as of January 2nd to our percent completes and whatnot, so that's kind of the bigger thing there, so.
Thank you for the information.
Okay, any more discussion? Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Sweet,
We're done.
Go home for the night.
you're done. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
We need to vote to adjourn the meeting.
Oh, all right,
All motion adjournment.
I'll second.
all right. No discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. We are adjourned.